What if the white things that come up in your lawn after 3 days of rain, the ones you kick over on your way to the mower, are worth more than anything you planted this year? 10 of these yard mushrooms have a real market behind them. One of them sells for $300 a pound dried, and one of them is the most recognized lawn mushroom in the world. Here is the truth most people never hear. A mushroom being unusual does not make it valuable. Most of what comes up in your grass has no buyer at any price, and one of the things that does come up there kills people every single year. Nobody ever taught you to look at where a mushroom is growing before you look at the mushroom. Value does not live in the lawn, it lives on wood and on the roots of trees. So do not touch anything until you can name it. 10. Shaggy mane. Along the edge of the drive or in the rough grass by the gate, tall white cylinders push up overnight, looking like something wearing a shaggy coat. By the next afternoon, the bottoms have gone black and started dripping. Your first thought is that it is rotting, and that whatever it was, it is clearly past it. That instinct makes sense. It is the mushroom doing exactly what it evolved to do. Here is what nobody told you. This is Coprinus comatus, and it is genuinely good eating. It is also the reason you will never see one for sale anywhere, at any price. It digests itself. Within hours of maturing, the gills liquefy from the bottom rim upward and run down the stem as black ink, and that is how the spores travel. So the shelf life is not short. There is none. A restaurant cannot buy them, a shop cannot stock them, a forager cannot ship them. The only person who will ever eat one is somebody standing next to it. Your test tonight. Look for a tall white column covered in shaggy upturned scales, with the cap wrapped close around the stem rather than opening flat like an umbrella. Then check the bottom edge for black liquid forming. And the loss, which happens on every street in the country. They come up Thursday, somebody mows Saturday, and the only free food in the yard that week goes under the blades. Keep that word free in mind, because the next one arrived in your garden the same way. Number 9. Wine cap. In the wood chip mulch around the shrubs, or in the bark you spread along the path last spring, fat burgundy caps come pushing up in a cluster. They look like exactly the sort of thing that grows in mulch. Something the bark brought with it. Contamination, probably. So you rake it out, or turn the chips over, and forget about it. No one faults you for that. Turn one over and look underneath. Here is what is happening in your flower bed. That is Stropharia rugosoannulata, the wine cap, and people cultivate it deliberately. You can buy spawn by the bag, seed it into fresh chips on purpose, and wait a full year hoping it establishes. Small growers sell it at market. Restaurants buy it. It arrived in your beds for nothing, in a mulch delivery, because that is precisely the habitat it wants. Hardwood chips on damp ground. Your test tonight. The cap is wine red to dull burgundy when young, fading browner with age. There is a thick, ragged ring on the stem like a torn collar, and the gills start pale gray, then darken to deep purple-black as the spores mature. Purple-black gills on a mushroom growing in wood chips is the combination that names it. And the loss. Every spring, somebody turns the mulch over to break it up and destroys a network that took a year to build. 8. Giant puffball. Out in the open lawn, or in the rough grass along the boundary, a white ball appears that is genuinely the size of a football, sometimes bigger. It looks less like a mushroom than like something somebody left behind, and most people give it a kick to see what happens. That instinct makes sense. Take a knife to it instead. This is Calvatia gigantea, one of the few wild mushrooms that shows up in the open, in mown grass, where anybody can see it. Foragers sell it around $16 a pound, and a single good specimen is several pounds, which means one football in the lawn out-earns almost everything else at that size. Your test tonight, and this is the only test that matters. Cut it in half from the very top straight down through the base, The inside must be solid, pure white, and completely uniform, like fresh mozzarella. Nothing else. Yellow or olive tint means it is past it. And if you see the faint outline of a cap and a stem drawn inside that white flesh, like a small mushroom sealed in an egg, put it down and wash your hands. That is not a puffball. That is a young amanita still inside its veil. And the loss. Most of them get kicked apart by somebody curious, in a yard where one has come up every August for years. Now I need 90 seconds of your attention, because that amanita is the next item on the list. 7. Destroying angel. And here I have to stop you, because this is the one mushroom in your yard where the honest price is nothing at all. There is no buyer, no market, no version of this that pays you, and I want that stated plainly before anything else, because it comes up in lawns and under oaks, looking clean and white and completely unremarkable. It looks like a supermarket button mushroom grown a little tall. That is the entire problem. No bitterness, no smell, no color change. People who have survived it describe it as pleasant to eat. Here is the honest truth, and I respect you too much to soften it. Amanita bisporigera and its relatives kill people in this country every year. The poisoning has a specific shape you need to know. You feel fine for 6 to 12 hours. Then violent illness. Then, after a day or so, you feel better, and that false recovery is the part that kills, because people go home. The liver is failing the whole time. Your test tonight, and it is the single most important thing in this video. Never cut a white mushroom off at ground level. Dig the base out of the soil with your fingers. Amanitas grow out of a buried cup, and cutting the stem removes the one feature that identifies them. White gills, a ring on the stem, a cup at the buried base. Any one of those three, and you walk away. And the loss I want you to picture. These do not take one person. One confident picker brings a basket home, and the whole table eats. But before we get to the top 5, there is something about all of this that most people never stop to realize. Almost nothing worth money grows in your grass. A mushroom is the fruit of something much larger living out of sight, and every valuable species is either feeding on wood or wrapped around the roots of a tree. Rotting stumps, buried roots, the base of an old oak. Grass is the one part of your property where none of that is happening, which is exactly why the lawn produces so little, and why what it does produce is the dangerous one. Stop looking down at the turf. Start looking at the trees, and at anything dead. Now let us get back to the rankings. 6. Chicken of the woods. On an old oak stump, or low on a dying trunk, a stack of shelves erupts in an orange so bright it looks artificial. Overlapping fans, soft at the edges, sulfur yellow underneath. It looks poisonous. The color reads as a warning. That instinct makes sense. It is also one of the safest mushrooms a beginner can learn. This is Laetoporus sulphureus, and foragers sell it around $16 a pound. Nothing else in the woods looks like it. No gills at all, just a surface of fine pores underneath, growing in shelves straight out of wood rather than up out of soil. Here is the part worth more than the price. It fruits from the same stump year after year, sometimes for a decade. That stump you were planning to grind out is an annual crop. Your test tonight. Bright orange top, yellow pore surface underneath, growing on wood, no gills anywhere. And the loss. The stump comes out in October, and the whole thing is finished permanently. 5. Lion's mane. High on the trunk of an old beech or oak, usually out of a wound or a broken limb scar, something white hangs down that does not look like a mushroom at all. A cascade of soft icicles. A pale, shaggy pom-pom stuck to the bark, 12 feet up, where you would never think to look. That instinct makes sense, because it genuinely does not read as a mushroom. This is Hericium erinaceus, and it sells in the range of $20 to $25 a pound. But here is what I most want you to take from it. There is nothing in North America that looks like this and hurts you. Its relatives in the genus are all white, all toothed, all growing on wood, and all edible. That is a rare sentence in this subject, which is exactly why beginners get pointed at it. No gills, no pores. The spore surface is a mass of soft, downward-hanging spines, and that texture is the identification. Your test tonight, and it is a looking-up test rather than a looking-down one. Walk your trees and scan the trunks at height, especially anywhere a limb has torn out. And the loss. An arborist looks at a wounded trunk, decides the tree is declining, and takes the limb out and seals the wound. The wound was the whole point. That fungus was already inside the wood and would have fruited there for years. 4. Hen of the woods. At the base of a big old oak, right where the trunk meets the ground, a gray-brown cluster of overlapping feathered fronds sits in the leaf litter, looking exactly like a heap of dead leaves. People walk past these every autumn. From 10 feet away, it is invisible. That instinct makes sense. Get down and look at the foot of your oaks in October. This is Grifola frondosa, maitake, and it runs roughly $16 to $28 a pound. A single cluster can be 10 pounds. But here is the part that matters. It comes back. The fungus lives in that root system and fruits at the same trunk every autumn, often for 20 or 30 years. You are not finding a mushroom. You are finding a tree that makes one every October for the rest of your life. Your test tonight. Base of a mature oak, overlapping gray fronds in a rosette. White pores underneath instead of gills. 3. Chanterelle. Scattered under oaks through summer, golden orange, vase-shaped, coming up out of soil in ones and twos across a wide area. Buyers pay $28 to $44 a pound wholesale. And here is a number worth hearing honestly. A working forager's own price list has them at $17. Retail is not the picker's price, and that gap is the entire business. Your test. Real chanterelles have false gills, blunt ridges running down into the stem that will not scrape off cleanly with a fingernail. And the loss, which sends people to hospital every summer. The jack-o'-lantern is the same orange, grows in tight clumps on wood, and has true knife-edge gills. People find a clump, think they have hit a jackpot, and take the lot home. 2. Morels. For about 3 weeks in spring, in the leaf litter under a dying elm or an old apple tree, or straight out of the landscaping mulch beside the house, something comes up that looks like a small dark brain on a stalk. Deeply pitted, hollow, honeycombed. Here are the real numbers, because this is the one that genuinely pays. Fresh morels run $40 to $80 a pound at specialty retail. Dried run $150 to $300. Foragers selling wholesale get $25 to $50. Note that gap again. Retail is not what the picker takes home. And here is the honest part about yards. Morels fruit around trees under stress, which is why dying elms and old orchard apples are the classic sign, and why fresh wood chips give a flush the first spring and nothing after. Nobody has a permanent morel patch in their garden. Your test tonight, and it is not optional. A true morel is completely hollow from the tip of the cap to the base of the stem, one continuous empty chamber, with the cap fused to the stem all the way down. Cut it lengthwise and look. False morels are lumpy and brain-like rather than pitted, and solid or chambered inside, and they can kill you. Hollow all the way through, or leave it. And the loss. The dead elm comes down in February, and that is the end of a spot that produced for years. 1. And it is almost certainly in your lawn right now, and in your neighbors, and in every lawn on the street. The fairy ring mushroom. Small, tan, unremarkable, growing in an arc or a full circle in the grass, the ring pushing outward a few inches every year. Marasmius oreades. Photograph something in a lawn and post it asking whether it is worth money, and half of those photographs are this. Here is the truth that turns this whole video around. It is edible. People do eat it, and it is worth essentially nothing. No buyer, no market. The most recognized lawn mushroom in the world, and no restaurant on earth is ordering it. Fame is not value. The thing everyone recognizes is almost never the thing worth the most, because the whole world already has one. I will not inflate it for you. Your lawn is not a crop. And there is a sting in this one. Small, pale, funnel-shaped mushrooms grow in the very same rings, in the same grass, at the same time. And some of them are seriously toxic. The ring guarantees nothing. It is just a ring. But this is the reframe I have been walking you toward for 10 items. The money was never in the grass. Every single thing worth having tonight was on wood or under a tree. The stump you were going to grind out, the base of the old oak, the wound halfway up the beach. So here is your final test, and it is the same one every item was teaching. Before you pick anything, name it. Not roughly, exactly. Because a mushroom is worth precisely what you can name, and nothing at all if you cannot. Everything valuable tonight was easy to walk past, and every mistake tonight was made by somebody who was almost sure. If this made you want to go and look at the base of your OAKS, do me one small thing and like the video. It tells me to keep making these. And if you are not subscribed, that is where the next one lives. Then tell me in the comments. What comes up in your yard every year that you have never once identified? I read every one. One last thing, and I mean it. Never eat anything from your yard on the strength of a video, mine included. Get it confirmed by somebody who knows, in your area, holding the actual mushroom.